Hello, welcome back to RC Video Reviews. Today we're taking a look at the HobbyKing MX2 3D EPP plane. Just yesterday I was at the field with Dave shooting the SBOC video, and I told him that when I'm in the simulator at home, I'm like Superman. I can do anything with a 3D plane. I don't mean anything literally, but you know, I can go into a Harrier, fly it down the runway, I can do flat spins, inverted flat spins, I can do figure 8 knife edges, you know, I can do all these different things when I'm in a simulator. I'm like Superman, you know. But when I get at the field, I don't do it because I don't risk the planes, and the planes fall out, so the physics aren't quite the same. So what I need to be able to do is translate. I do have most of the basic stick movements for a lot of the common maneuvers, but I need to be able to translate that to a plane. That's the reason for this airplane. It also wasn't long after I posted some video material on the Katana that Robert chimed in. He goes, hey, you know, they make these 3D profile bashers. And when he said that, the light kind of clicked on for me. Like, you know, rather than go out and practice on an expensive balsa airplane and learn your mistakes the hard way, it's much better to do it on an airplane like this that's a basher. This is EPP Foam. If I mess it up, I don't really care. I paid $76 for the thing shipped to my door. And it uses some relatively cheap components, cheap motors, cheap servos. So it made a whole lot of sense to me. And I did look at the Twisted Hobby stuff, but I landed on this one mainly because I like the idea of it being an airfoil. And I think that'll probably maybe translate a little more directly to balsa when I decide to try these maneuvers on a balsa plane. But anyway, enough of that. That's the backstory behind why I got this plane. Let's look at the plane itself. As I mentioned, it is an EPP foam plane, which means if there's any breakage, it's really easy to glue with something like foam tack or shoe goo or Gorilla Glue. I fully expect to bash this plane. I fully expect to crash this plane, but I'm going to spend the time translating what I know how to do in the simulator into flight with this plane. All right, let's start off by taking a look at the fuselage. Oh, in terms of weight, I just want to make sure I cover that real quick with you. This is a 550 gram plane, or 1.2 pounds, and the wingspan on this one is 37.6 inches. In terms of the motor, they recommend a 2217 1100 kV with a 30 amp ESC and a 10x47 or 11x47 slow fly propeller and 4 9-gram servos. So I've got all of that kind of stuff in my stash, so I didn't have to order much in terms of parts to get this plane ready to go. But anyway, here's the fuselage, and you know, EPP foam, so you don't expect a lot in terms of fit and finish on these because they're rough, but they're molded well. And when I say you don't expect much in terms of fit and finish, they're just not pretty like those shrink-covered PA planes or extreme flight planes. But you know, they did a nice job given that it's EPP foam. I mean, that's a pretty nice clean paint scheme, straight lines, no bleeding. And as you can see, there is some dimension to it. This plane is about 54 millimeters in width on the fuselage, so a little bit of thickness. And then it's a hybrid as well, because inside, when you pull this canopy off, which is secured with magnets there in the back, once you pull that off, you notice there's some hardwood in there that helps with the structure. And then throughout the plane, in certain areas, probably along the wing spar where the wings screw in, there's some hardwood. Obviously there's some hardwood material up here, up front for the motor mount area. So a little bit of hardwood integrated throughout. Oh, check that out. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that, but down through the fuselage tunnel right there, there's hardwood that goes all the way back. And then some hardwood mounts for the servos in the back. So strategic placement of hardwood, but look, you know, this is, the whole idea is for this thing to be able to take a punch. That's the idea. So not a lot, but it's in there. So that plywood goes all the way back. You can see that dark line right there. That goes all the way back to the horizontal stabilizer surface. All right, so that's the fuselage. Now here's the wing. As I mentioned, it is an airfoil, so that's one of the reasons I wanted this one, is I wanted the airfoil shape. And I am aware that Twisted Hobby has some airfoil shapes as well. So I may revisit their planes at some point in the future, but this one, for the price, it just looked like it was hard to beat. Again, nice, attractive decoration on the wing. No decals for this plane, so everything that they did with paint. And then a nice high contrast color scheme on the bottom with the blue and white. And then there's a fiber tape on the wing hinge. It came glued like this already. Not sure how fun it's going to be to figure out the aileron wires, but I'm sure I'll get it worked out. And then in here you can definitely see some reinforcement. Again, not sure if that's wood or carbon or fiber. I don't know. It's probably wood, judging by the rest of it. They use plywood, but you can see reinforcements there, here across the spar, of course, up top, and down here on this tip as well. So the whole idea is to make it rigid. This is EPP foam, very flexible. So it feels pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't, you know, I'm not going to monkey fist it and see how much it takes to break it, but it feels pretty stout. I mean, I don't feel a lot of flex. Even from tip to tip, it's not bad. You do feel some, but it's not terrible. Not terrible. Okay, the ailerons, these are CA hinges. And again, reinforcements inside, although these do flex. So they have a reinforcement in there, but I can definitely get some flex out of those. See that? And there's a hard point for the control horn right there. The good news is there's no warpage on these ailerons. If you look down the edge, that's pretty straight for a piece of EPP. Okay, the rudder, nice big rudder, tail wheels already installed. Another hard point for the control surface to make sure we have deflection all the way to the rear trailing edge of the rudder. And then you can also see another reinforcement piece right in here, right behind the leading edge. And then more CA hinges. It looks like the CA hinges are already glued in on this side. That's kind of cool. That'll make assembly a little easier. And again, the tail wheel's already on with a hard point right there. And then there's another, obviously, a hard point right there that'll go on the fuselage. So real simple construction. Canopy we went through. Horizontal stabilizer. Where the torque bar is, again, they're back to using plywood on the top and bottom. Reinforcement for the control horn and reinforcement just after the leading edge of the elevator and a reinforcement about the midpoint of the horizontal stabilizer. I'm not sure what the throws are going to be on this. I know they can be substantial, but there are no servo extensions in the hardware kit that I saw, so I may have to rig something up if the throws aren't enough. We'll see. But I have watched a number of YouTube videos and the plane seems to fly very well without any mention of servo extensions. Okay, the hardware kit has just a basic wire landing gear, a couple wheels, some push rods, a couple of screws, control horns. That looks like heat shrink tubing to me. Yeah, that's heat shrink. Not sure what that's for yet. Some nylon control horns, servo reinforcement plates, and a Velcro hook and loop strip, probably for your gadgets you stick in the plane. And then a couple of screws and that's it. So a relatively simple hardware bag. And then as far as the instructions go, real basic instructions, not verbose like something you'd get on a PA plane. And the pictures are pretty terrible quality. I think they're probably enough, but the quality is not great. I can tell you that. Let's see, do they recommend what kind of glue here? With 502 instant adhesive, whatever the hell that is. I don't know. I'll have to do some reading on that. So yeah, there you go. Pictures, black and white, pretty poor quality to be honest. It's almost, I don't know who puts this type of product out, but they should look at it and say, no, that's just not good enough. I mean, those pictures are not great. But it's probably enough to get by. Well, that wraps up my first look at the HobbyKing MX2 EPP foam plane. I hope this information's been helpful to you, and if it is, I would appreciate your subscription. For all of you that are already subscribers, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking part in the channel and interacting the way you do. I wanted to give you guys a quick reminder. Don't forget about my t-shirts. If you haven't visited my t-shirt store, I hope you take a look. There's some cool t-shirts out there. My Amazon affiliate links in the description have a list of basic consumable hardware that you use in the RC hobby. So if you use my affiliate links, I get a little bit of a commission from Amazon. So every little bit helps, you guys know that. And if you use affiliate links that I have, it doesn't cost you anything extra. So I would appreciate it if you're out there looking for things on Amazon, check out my affiliate links and use those, because that way, if you do decide to buy anything, it helps the channel out. So I just appreciate any help I can get in that direction. All right, guys, that's all I've got for today. Take it easy. You, my friend, are going to have a rough life. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but that's just the way it's going to be.